Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about an antique baseball glove that has, in my opinion, been identified. This one right here. If you watch this channel, you've probably met this glove once or twice. I believe this is a 1911 Spalding model AA1, which, folks, is kind of a big deal. I've been really researching antique Spalding baseball catalogs to find, because there is no, as you can see, there's all any maker's stamp is gone. I thought I saw a couple letters in the light, different shadows. You can kind of, or different angles you can see, but I can't find anything. So what you have to go by then is just the glove itself, the animal hide, the interior, the webbing. This is 1-inch webbing. The size, this is definitely large. I have big hands too. This thing is freaking huge. And the padding. Don't forget the padding. Back in the day, and still now, but back in the day, I think especially players would choose the padding, the amount, like less padding, more padding. They would cut holes in the middle. We're talking like early 1900s, 1890 through probably 1920-ish. Probably a little earlier. So I was really looking at a bunch of antique Spalding catalogs, and I happen to have one right here. I've also shown this on the channel once. 1910 Spalding baseball. It's the record. This is great. But the back is where they have the fielding gloves, infielders gloves, and it's interesting because we have Spalding infielder gloves. I always assume these are outfield gloves. And then where is it? Look at this, fielder's mitts, and then baseman mitts. So fielder's mitts and baseman mitts. What's a fielder's mitt? Then you have catcher's mitts right there. So what's a fielder's mitt, right? That's a whole other ball of unraveling. So anyhow, I looked through these. This is just a 1910. This is the only one I got. There's, they go back to like 1860 something. And that's where it's a great place to find information on antique Spalding baseball gloves. Reach has one too. So, and you can also go to, this is the word, how do you identify an old glove? So you can go to these, if it's a Spalding, you can go to a Spalding, like as I said, you can do like a Google search, like just Google search antique Spalding baseball glove ads. You can even plug that into eBay, because a lot of guys will sell individual pages of old baseball ads, like baseball glove ads. So eBay is a great option, a great resource. Just go to eBay, type antique Spalding baseball glove ads. Bam, there'll probably be a lot of them. Then you have something to work with. You have a date, because at the bottom of the page it says the date of the ad, and then the models and the description and the prices. And then so you have that. That's like the original OG. That's the original catalog. Doesn't get any better than that. And then you have also, I'll do a little close up, let you see this thing while I talk. And then you have online databases like current things from collectors, antiquebaseballglove.com or whatever. You can just, they're not hard to find. There's only a few of them. Just Google antique baseball glove information or history, and they'll pop right up. I don't use just one. I use like a bunch. So I don't have just one I always go to. There's a lot, or not a bunch, but I just keep searching and searching. Vintage sports, So you have the Spalding catalog option, and then you have the modern, database, online photos of collections of gloves, front and back. And those can be pretty useful, but sometimes they don't identify, like if the glove is, for example, like this, It won't say Spalding Model AA1 because the guy doesn't know, right? It'll say Spalding, white leather or white, white 1 inch. So that's what it is, right? But that's it. It doesn't tell you anything really about when it was made, what's it made out of, and more. So I think I found the answer. The AA1, 1911. This was a big deal, this glove. This, if I'm correct, and I think I'm correct, I mean, I could be wrong. It's an art, not a science, but everything lines up in this glove. It just all lines up. Spalding patches are always right here. This is a Spalding glove for an example. I mean, it's right there. You can see the outline where it was. And these are, even though this one is sun bleached, they always have like a red thread layer underneath, and you can see red. I think I found that in a prior video when the sun was in the right, bam, right there, like a red thread. You can see what the patch was stitched on. Okay. What else? This glove, I always have joked around this glove saying it's floppy. It stinks. It's got an odor to it because it does. But that's because it's made of buckskin. This is the finest quality buckskin available at the time in 1911. Buckskin has a different, smell compared to cowhide, as does horsehide. Horsehide smells different than, leather, right? So is this. This is like the finest buckskin available in 1911. A leather interior, and I think this might even be the tubing or the piping might even be smoked sheepskin, right? Smoked sheepskin. I wouldn't lie to you. I've read now probably about 100 or more of these baseball ads from Reach and Spalding from the 90s to 1930s, a bunch of them. And there's smoked horsehide, smoked sheepskin. It smells delicious. Just kidding. I don't eat meat. If you do, I'm not judging you. But I mean, this is how they describe the leathers, not just leather. So this is the finest buckskin available, which is a male deer, right? We have a ton of those in our area, and let me tell you, they're tough animals. They're out, negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. They're out in the summer when it's 110 in the marsh where there's prickers and mosquitoes, and they just sleep in the prickers. I mean, so their skin is tough. I mean, you can walk up. There's not much around Northeast Ohio that can scare you in the woods besides a rabid raccoon or a mama black bear. But if you're just walking through like tall grass, the deer sleep in those. You know what I mean? They just kind of lay down and sleep in the tall grass, and you'll come across a buck and it'll scare the crap out of you and him. So they're tough. I mean, they just walk through prickers and stuff. The grain so look at that. I'll do a close up. The grain of buckskin is like this. You see these small little pebbling. That's how I can figure it out, how I can eyeball it, because I've been doing research on that as well. That'll be an upcoming video. Different animal hides used in antique baseball gloves. It's not just leather and horsehide, let me tell you. So this has that. If you look at like a pebbling, the grain, I guess, right? There's another one somewhere just for a quick reference. This is got. It's an old Reach, 1908, 1910. That color, right? And you see the grain, it's like small little dots. So this has that. This has seen a lot of play, and it's, compared to other gloves, it's so floppy. It's like you can just fold this thing up like a burrito. I mean, this is, it doesn't have the lacing, right? What do I mean by that? Got my stack of gloves here for reference. Bam. This doesn't have, it's sewn shut. So what does that mean? Well, it means back then old time guys would have to cut it open and remove stuff or add stuff. They want to customize it. So this doesn't have that. But it's so thin. I'm like, what is it? Just beat, they beat it up. So this question helped me solve what this is, and I'm getting to it right now. So this is what happened. So I'm like, well, it's, I always knew this glove is so thin. Like it must be like just compacted. The felt inside. to where it's just so thin, it just feels like it's 2 pieces of leather, right? But no. So that was the one of the descriptive things about this glove that helped me solve it. I'll even show you the ad. Let me see here. It's right here. Check this out. A11. Got the bulbous. That's a bulbous. Pinky. The fingers are like they're fat at the top. Even has this dark mark. I think this is on like a stand in this ad because it's, this is like elongated, and it's kind of like coming at you, where this is just flattened, you know what I mean? It's long gone, but I gotta read you this ad, all right? It reflects the time. I gotta read this to you. It's really short, don't worry. Okay, this is an ad for this glove from 1911 in the Spalding baseball catalog almanac. So here we go. Check out this. It's often very hard to express in words the reasons why one article, which does not look so very different from others, is yet so far superior as regards to its playing qualities. This is so with our number AA1 glove. It's the same model as used by the men who bore the brunt of the playing in the World Series. That's the 1910 World Series. As it includes in its construction their practical ideas as champion ball players, made especially for professional players, men who must have the best thing for the purpose. Finest quality buckskin, very little padding, and that in just the right place. Leather lined throughout, $4 each. $4 each. Now, I misspoke in a prior video saying, back then, these gloves were cheap. No. $4 in 1911, you know how much that was? It was around 130 freaking US dollars. This cost a grown man 130 US dollars in 1911. $4. I forgot to adjust for inflation, you know what I mean? $4. This cost $130. Probably $140 with tax. $140. It's the finest quality buckskin you can get. Soak that in, folks. Leather interior, right? Now the smoked sheepskin piping. If I'm wrong, sue me. It just sounds good. But I read a few other, top end of this era, they would use a smoked sheepskin, right? For that lining right there, that piping. Okay, so there's more. So this was designed, so it was that thin, or what's the quote? Very little padding, and just in the right place. So there's no padding. There's no padding here, and no one cut this open. So I'm like, wait a minute, it hasn't been operated on. There is just the leather front and the back. That's it. It's so thin here. And there's padding here on the bulbous pinky and here on the thumb and some of the tips. That's it. The heels, barely any heel, right here. Barely anything. So that is what got me. I'm like, this is it. This is it. It's a professional size mitt or glove for sure. Design, this is 1910. That was the Philadelphia Athletics versus the Cubs, Chicago Cubs. I think the Cubs, who won? I forget. I just know the gear, you know what I mean? So this is based upon, I guess, those players, ideas and designs. And so it shows you that the tough players, the professionals, wanted nothing there. If you had padding here, like this ham hock, that was for the lackadaisical amateur. You know what I mean? A gentleman with a top hat would go have a catch with his buddies at the park. There's padding here. Not a lot, but there is. But this is, there's a lot of padding. This, no. Professionals, no. Which explains how those guys, those photos could just fold up their gloves in their back pocket, right? I'm like, how do you do that? Even when I got gloves like this. This is old, same era, similar era. What else? This is same, similar era. What else? I mean, this is a little bit later, but I mean, you can't fold. This one's okay, but you can't really fold these up, and it's gonna rip your pocket. But this thing, I mean, yeah, you can. I mean, it's flappy. You know what I mean? $130 back then. So, what else did I learn about this? So this one, oh yes, this is another thing. To help date Spalding gloves. So, this is something that people will mislabel in their listings or descriptions. This is an old Spalding mitt, similar era. This says right here, excuse me, licensed, patent March 10th, 1908. So people will assume, oh, my glove's from 1908. Great, 1908 glove for sale. That is usually incorrect because that's when something was patented on this glove. Well, what? Now I know. It's this, and many gloves have this. It's the seam between the fingers. You see how it's off to the side and not down the middle? Well, that was a patent that Spalding had in 1910, and it's on this glove. It's on this glove. Yeah, you can see it's off. It's off-centered, right? So you can date your glove. So these are after 1908 because it has that design, that patented design, right? Reach has one too, but it's called something different. I forget what they call it, some technology. But now let me read to you what that, because that can help me date this too, right? This is 1911. This is a 1908 technology. Let me find my old antique, old timey, even because I learned this. Okay, here we go. Recently, I want to share it with all of you. This is what I'm talking about. Illustrated diverted seams. All Spalding infielder gloves are made with our patented diverted seam between fingers, adding considerably to the durability of the gloves. Patent March 10th, 1908. See up there, the little illustration pointing. So there you have it. So I knew something was up with that. I knew. You know, I want to stay focused on this glove in front of me, but but this is pertinent to this topic because it's a Spalding glove. It's got the technology. You know, it all lines up. You see what I mean now? Like everything lines up. In other cases with other gloves that I haven't, shown this process online or on YouTube yet, you get so far with the glove and then it's like, oh well, it can't be because XYZ, because it's got the wrong button, or it's got the wrong blah blah blah, wrong shape, wrong size, wrong skin or hide. You know what I mean? But this one, it all lines up. This is the damn sure grown size. This is I have a big hand. This thing is, it's large or it's full size, whatever. Okay, 1911. Okay, this is around that time, a little bit earlier, but yeah, this is around. And that's another topic I want to get into. I mean, there's people assume a glove like this, the full webbing is that's 1900 to 1910. That's the rough rule of thumb for gloves. But folks, in my research, I've seen full webbings in catalogs for sale from the early 1930s. 1930s, full webs. So, and 1-inch webs and the the grommets and all that stuff like this. But yes, I have seen full webs for sale brand new in catalogs from the early 1930s. And I'm going to do a whole video on that. I don't want to get this, but So, the technology is here for Spalding. Even though this glove, I can't find it saying Spalding anywhere with written letters, or words. Here's the technology, right? Right? As shown in that illustration. Okay, those things. It even shows it's darkened in the illustration. This is buckskin. This is leather. You can see the leather. That's leather. It smells like it. Oh yeah. And then the buckskin's got its own smell. Musky. It's more musky. It's got a musk to it. and it's super fun. I mean, that's, and so I mean, it's $130 some odd glove, and you know, the pros wanted this way. They wanted, and that's what always got to me. I always forgot to use padding thickness as a search engine or a search, you know, topic. Just because it's not something that, you know, commonplace gloves you really, you know, think about. You know, you go to a sporting goods store, you don't ask for like the thin model. You know what I mean? But back then, this is the pros. They were tougher than the amateurs, and this proves it. No padding. So there you go. So now I'm gonna start, you know, tagging my gloves because it's a lot of research. 1911 at least, you know. But then again, I looked at a 1910 catalog, which I have. It didn't have this model. So, and this is like the top, you know, top line of the year. This is it. This is like the shit. This is it. The OG, you know, the amazing glove. So this before was like I thought it was a Spalding, could have been a Reach, you know, probably. You know, I just thought it was beat to hell, nothing special. But now I realize, oh no. With about a day and a half of research, and it's not going to end. I still got to research more. But this is now the AA1, which was like the $130 glove back in 1911. $4. Isn't that amazing? So there you go, folks. There's going to be a lot more of these. I'm working on other research topics and other, you know, interesting aspects into these gloves because, you know, it's a fun thing to research. It's like coin collecting. You know, you got to just go off of one small thing can make this a big deal. Just as in coins, right? A super small, you know, mint mark can make a 1 cent penny worth, you know, multi-million dollars. So I hope you find one of those, and I hope you had fun with this video. If you like, please subscribe. There'll be more of these. And as always, thanks for checking in.